Of course, here in the New York City area, we are looking for any spare hospital capacity that we can find or perhaps build in some of the larger structures in this metro area. For more on one of those projects, we're joined now by Danny Zausner. He is the COO of the USTA National Tennis Center. And Danny, you guys are looking at or are in the process of, I guess, converting some of Arthur Ashe Stadium and some of the complex over there in Flushing to a temporary hospital. Just bring us up to speed on what's happening over there and how you guys got involved in this project.
Well, welcome to the National Tennis Center, Miles. Yeah, we are way past the looking phase. At this point, there's a team out there, a company from Texas called SLS that the city has brought in, and they are building a hospital in our indoor training center. It's a 12-court indoor training center that we use to put public programs on all year round, and we use it for other purposes during the open. But for right now, it is a 350-bed hospital, and it'll be up and running at some point next week.
So do you have any sense of what the timeline for this will be? Have they given you any idea? Of course, I mean, we've seen what's happened with Wimbledon, and we're all tennis fans and know when the US Open comes around. So what is the timeline?
So the timeline right now is, I mentioned 350 beds. They're going to do that in 3 installments. They want the first 150 beds up and running for next week. And they hope over the next 3 weeks, all 350 plus beds will be functioning. What we know is that we are a stone's throw from the Elmhurst Hospital, which has really become the epicenter for the virus in the whole city. And we're 4 miles away, and they want to bring the non-life-threatening COVID patients here. And we just know that as long as this virus is around, we need to support the community. Everyone's talking about when is this bubble going to burst? We're looking at 2 weeks, 4 weeks, but we're here to support them any which way. We're in April right now. One would like to think that the bubble bursts within 30 days and we could talk about what's on the back end of this. We just don't know that information at this point.
Hey, Danny, I've been wondering how you take something like a stadium or a tennis center and turn it into a hospital. I mean, how do you, where do you put people on center court with the roof over drawn, or do you put them in locker rooms or internal spaces? And how do you sterilize things?
So as it relates to Arthur Ashe Stadium, the largest tennis stadium in the world, they're not really looking at that for any of the hospital perspective right now. Our indoor training center has 12 indoor courts. You heard Governor Cuomo mention about 7-10 days ago, he was looking for 1 million to 2 million square feet of open space. We happen to have 100,000 of it in our indoor training center, so we can't necessarily meet all of their needs, but this 350 plus beds will go a long way. So it's really about the indoor training center. Actually, in Louis Armstrong Stadium, our number 2 court, that's been turned into a food commissary where we're putting together about 25,000 meals a day through our food service partner, Restaurant Associates. So they're really using the indoor training center and Louis Armstrong Stadium, but not Arthur Ashe Stadium. It's a big stadium, but it's not really conducive for hospital beds.
And then, Danny, I guess just thinking about the state of tennis right now in the country and the state of all sports, you guys have an initiative trying to get people to play some tennis at home. And I think, in my free time, I like to golf. And I think golf and tennis are both sports where you're thinking, well, I'm not that close to someone. I'd like to be able to play it. Certainly, there's no tennis playing happening here in New York City or hopefully anywhere in the country right now. But what are you guys doing to try to keep the game, relevant for people who are just waiting for those summer months? And hopefully they can get back out on the court.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because it's all about net generation for us. And if you go to any family goes to netgeneration.com, on our website, we put all the information in the world about playing with who you're staying with. Really, we don't want people going out to tennis courts. That's not what's in the best interest of the community right now. But at home, in your house, we've got exercises, there's videos. Go out on your driveway if you've got one. You could do things with your immediate family on staying more than 6 feet apart. And this is where there's some really incredible, valuable tools. People need to exercise their brains. They need to exercise their body. And netgeneration.com will help them tremendously with that.
Danny, the U.S. Open usually in August. When do you have to make a decision if that's on or off? By what, June or July? Still on for now, right?
Yeah, no, the main draw is August 31st. We usually run our qualifying fan week the week before that. We're in April right now. What we're doing right now is we're building the site as if we're going to have a U.S. Open, and we obviously all hope we do. I know the city of New York certainly hopes we do. We're an incredible economic engine for the city, over $800 million a year in economic activity. We don't want that to go away. Nobody does. So we'll keep building for that. There's no decisions that need to be made in April and probably not even in May, but we'll just keep going and we'll just keep following what's going on. As I've told people, we don't know if we're at the beginning or at the middle right now. We just know we're not at the end for sure.
All right, Danny Zausner with the National Tennis Center. Thanks so much for the work you guys are doing. Thanks for joining the program. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.